So we just execute on the infrastructure side after the confirmation. So the build out of this structure typically takes quite a long time, around 6 to 9 months. Hi, ASEAN Path TV. My name is Adam from Sarana Menara Nusantara in Indonesia. I'm Vice CEO. We are a tower company. We would build and own towers, whereby we would get a long-term contract for 10 years typically. And after we own and build those towers, we would look for additional tenants on those towers. As of September 2020, the tenancy ratio 1.8, meaning if we have 21,000 towers, we have 38,000 towers, each of them having long-term contracts. Starting in 2018, we diversified our business by investing into fiber optics that we would lease under long-term contracts as well. So that's what we do for a business.
So you are the only supplier, or do you have competitors?
Yes, we are the largest independent infrastructure provider for telecommunication business. We have 21,000 towers. We are approaching 40,000 kilometers of fiber optics by year end 2020. Our competitor usually focus more on towers. When it comes to towers and fiber optics, we are the largest among the independent tower companies.
Korean business people don't know about the Indonesia telecommunication market. Before we know about telecommunication tower market, we should know about the telecommunication market. So could you explain about this?
Indonesia today is still well within our 4G. If we hear about Indonesian telecommunication business spending capex for their wireless business, it is most likely to be for 4G, so not yet 5G. So from my observation, Indonesian Telecom started investing in 4G in 2018. So today, it's going to be the third year only, and I would expect another 2 or 3 years cycle for 4G before going to 5G. So that's number one. Number two is that Indonesian citizens access internet mainly through their handheld device. So it is an important business in Indonesia, increasing digitalization on various aspects of life. The upgrade towards a better internet service is quite considerable. So the penetration of internet in Indonesia is about reaching 175 million people in Indonesia. Like I mentioned, 90% of them is using internet through their handheld device. So what we do here as an infrastructure provider is very important, is vital for the increase or coverage of internet services in Indonesia. The speed of internet also under 4G LTE, from one of the reports I saw, I think it was JP Morgan, is about 10 megabyte per second, only, still far away from, major countries such as Korea, Japan, Singapore, Hong Kong. So I think Indonesia has a lot of room for it to grow. The population is huge in Indonesia. The area to cover is also very big, especially that for 4G, the areas that is covered by 4G is about 50% only. The speed of internet is still slow. The internet penetration is still low.
How the tower business is started at first?
We have 4 operators now: Telkomsel, XL Axiata, Indosat, and Hutchison. The last one is Smartfren. Yeah, so we have 4. So we are talking to them. They need the site, and they would look for our services. That's the way we do the business. The telecom operators are the ones who know their marketing research, where they need the structure to be built, because they are also measuring the speed of internet, the feedback of the customers over there. So we just execute on the infrastructure side after the confirmation. So the build out of this structure typically takes quite a long time, around 6 to 9 months. So the value of that we deliver as a tower company to the operators is actually the penetrating of new areas by us building new towers. So that's the value of us. And then we are seeing the need of connecting those towers with fiber optics of the data traffic going through the network of telephony in Indonesia, replacing the microwave on top of towers with fiber optics. So to be sure there is no bottleneck, when it comes to data traffic traveling from one tower to another tower. That's why started to replace with fiber optics, connecting towers to towers. We have now approaching 40,000 kilometers of fiber optics, especially in Java and Sumatra. etc. So I think we are in a good position to basically continue this business, you know. So we are like a utility business, like a, you know, power, electricity / toll road kind of infrastructure. However, there is an upside on that kind of contract that we would be able to get additional tenants on those same towers in the future. Operators would want to do co-location on existing structure is that because it is faster, number one, because they want to do roll out very quickly. Number two is that there is a higher certainty of execution success because if somebody were to build, then there's always this process of getting approval from various parties, the local community and the government. And then number three is that it's better to lease out rather than own infrastructure than, you know, on their balance sheet, because it is more efficient for operators.
You said that you will not proceed the 5G infrastructure for now. Do you have any specific reason that you don't proceed the 5G together with the 4G?
Thank you for the question, so I can clarify. As per our business model, so we would only build infrastructure if there is an order where the towers will be located, what are the towers to be connected with fiber from A, B to C points. The determination is from the operators. You know, as a result, if operators are still looking to roll out in 4G, so we will build for them in 4G. 4G means the towers tend to be higher because, you know, Indonesia is still penetrated anyway under 4G. So before moving to 5G, I would imagine the number of towers in Indonesia will need to increase, will need to add further. I'm looking at, you know, around 3,000 to 5,000 towers per year. And after that, those towers will, you know, require fiberization.
When do you estimate you will start to build the 5G infrastructure?
So there are two types of 5G. The number one 5G is actually more like an upgrade for existing 4G, which is run. So operators can say they have 5G, but it is actually an upgrade in equipment from what used to be 4G. And the second one of, you know, the second type of 5G, it's called the millimeter wave 5G. This is the one that I would imagine, you know, you can see in Seoul, in the major cities in South Korea would have, because the location is very near each other. And city administration works is that they are able to install without too much difficulty. So today, as I mentioned, which is a mere upgrade from 4G to 5G, and we will start to call that 5G. The first 5G may happen during the next 12 months or something. The ideal 5G that most people think that can do autonomous driving, virtual reality, communication, all those things, which would require the higher frequency. And for that to happen, I would imagine maybe 3 to 4 years down the road in Indonesia.
Recently, I checked your stock price of the tower. It's still keep going up. From the past until now, it's going up again and again every year. What do you think about it, and how is it possible to keep going up?
We always think about how we can grow our free cash flow. We have today EBITDA margins about 86%, Mr. Cho. A lot of people are questioning that because it's so high. I think our response to that is we always think about sustainability. So when we have new business, a new deal, acquiring towers, we work very hard to basically, so we would do a lot of cost savings on the operating expense side, capital expenditure side as well. So to be sure we don't borrow too much.
Recently, Google estimates that Indonesia e-commerce market will grow up about 4 to 5 times by 2025. Also, Indonesia government is pushing the organizations and the companies to do digitalization as well. So do you think that this phenomena will affect your telecommunication tower business as well?
Yes. What we see now is that the tendency for people to use internet all over Indonesia. The driver of our business is actually the internet, the need for internet access as well as reliable internet. So Indonesia has a very huge upside to the e-commerce, to the digital world. Yeah, as you can see, the banks are increasingly digitalizing their operations. Grab or Gojek in Indonesia are a big thing because it connects the working class and the need of the people with money. It can be food delivered. It can be various things. So especially with COVID, that digitalization is actually accelerated. So we think Indonesia is a market whereby it's a young population. The growth of internet is double digit. We are a part of that. And we are contributing to the growth, the coverage of internet in Indonesia by our building of sheer amount of infrastructure in Indonesia in the form of towers as well as fiber optics. The satellite are built typically to cover a mining operation somewhere in the forest with a little number of people. Number two, launching a satellite costs a lot more money. The price point under which they are offering these services 40 times more expensive than normal telephony services on a monthly basis. Yeah. So for mass market, I don't think it's suitable on the price point as well as the service level.